up on that because that's very important. I know a lot of people, in fact, even on Twitter yesterday when I tweeted I was going to be here, I got emails, can you tell me how, give me help, I want to start something, I need help. Or I have started something and I can't get anyone to help me. You had to approach it from what the needs of the businesses that you were hoping to partner with were, not necessarily from the needs of the people in the community to get buy-in. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because if we were in another community and it was the machine shop industry or auto industry, whatever it was, how do we connect the people who were, you know, not ready, or what were those needs, and get them ready so that they can access and have potential to succeed in this other sort of environment. I think that was, you know, sort of an awakening of connecting people, giving them opportunity to network.
How often would you say that you got help from someone who, or an entity, if not an individual, who really didn't necessarily care as much as you did about what you were there to do, but you were able to do something for them that they really did care about to get their support?
Quite often. I think what happened, the hospitality industry is a very benevolent group of folks, and they do believe in the give back, especially in New Orleans. I don't have much experience outside in the hospitality industry, but it sort of built a groundswell of support in every place we went. You know, people were open arms to help us. You know, and it took a little while to get to that point. But we stayed in conversations with the workforce development people and, you know, other advocacy groups. So that really sort of helped brand us, I guess. And they knew that we were trying to help from both sides or create this pipeline. But when we had the restaurant, people came in and sat down, and a kid that might have been only option was to deal drugs a couple of weeks ago. And here he is, you know, presenting himself well, speaking well, understanding the dynamics of what code shifting he had to do to achieve. It really impressed him. So the kids, in a sense, participated in selling themselves.
Did you recognize what you were doing in the beginning as social entrepreneurship? Is that something that ever crossed your mind?
No, I still can't spell Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
But I bring that point up because you have also achieved something in addition to obviously creating a very viable business entity, a very viable organization that does serve not only that local community but NOLA in general. I mean, I know there are lines around the block trying to get, you know, a meal at Cafe Reconcile. But you have achieved what really is, I consider, the gold standard of all organizations, whether it's a social entrepreneurship venture, whether it's a for-profit venture, sustainability. Talk about what you had to do, and even how you had to grow personally and evolve over time in order to create something that was sustainable and is sustainable even beyond your lifetime, which is where real legacy building is.
In the beginning, when we met with consultants, even before we opened the restaurant, I have to say, these are people I invited onto the board afterwards. They said, don't do this. You're crazy. So overcoming that kind of thing, and these were business school types, folks, but not
so they're experts on why something won't work.
You know, and so being, I guess, that bullheaded or being that determined because of this spiritual element or call that I felt, and I lost a little bit of the point, but the
issue of
sustainability, and that was always an issue when it was me running the day-to-day operations and handling all of the business and having volunteers that were doing my books and having the blessing of people like Pam Broom, who's here in the audience, to come along from academia and come in and see that this is really where the rubber was meeting the road, and to have that kind of affirmation, it was admitting where my shortcomings were mostly and knowing what I didn't know and being open about that and saying, I need this kind of help. That opened another floodgate of people who were willing to come in and help at whatever, from the bread we got every day, from the washing machines, for the dishes, to the phone. All these people started emerging, and so the sustainability turned into, yeah, now I don't have to pay the phone bill, or I don't have to pay the bread bill, or I don't have to pay the soap bill for the dishes. Those things were helpful, and they still are today. But I had one December, we take a break for Christmas and the New Year, closed the doors, and Pam and I were mulling over how we're going to open back in January, and we knew that, you know, we were months or days away from not being able to pay the salaries that we were on. So things have come in the door, and miracles, I'll call them, happened, and I know you can't bank on that or put it in a business plan, but maintaining the flexibility and the commitment to yourself to do whatever necessary, and don't try to overgrow, or, you know, and having people who understand to help you.
Well, I should say, every great business plan leaves room for miracles. Every entrepreneur will tell you that. Because you have to be prepared for something that will happen just when you need it to get you through a situation that you weren't prepared for. Let's talk about Katrina. You can't talk about New Orleans without talking about Katrina, because Katrina, for those of you who haven't been to New Orleans, Katrina is not really over. It's something that is still happening as the city comes back to life, as it reinvents itself in some ways. Talk about what happened to Cafe Reconcile, and was there a point where you thought that maybe Cafe Reconcile might be a permanent casualty of Katrina?
I personally delivered my wife 100 miles away, where they had electricity, with my 2 young children, and talked my way into a pass to get back in the city when they were still taking people out, and met with one of my board members in person, who's now here at the Hearst Foundation, a real blessing of visionary, Mason Granger, and he and a couple others by phone and one other in person, we met at Channel 6, and I just had already gone to the building and looked at it and assessed it and said, you know, we had some wind-driven rain damages, but I only lost 2 panels of glass.
Oh, wow.
Physically, I had a lot of other internal damage from the rain coming in, but we just said, with, you know, in 7 days, after 7 days, 7 days after the storm, said, we just have to get it open. And so again, it was like when I first was commissioned by Father Harry and Tim to say, go do this ministry. They said again, go get it open. And within, as soon as the city water was certified, we were open. That was like 5 weeks.
Wow.
So we were serving people with 3, I had 2 volunteers and myself, making big batches of food and serving, and I said it was more like a psych unit triage or MASH for, you know, for a long time. And so when people would come back to the city, we reestablished ourselves in an even bigger way. And so I think that personal resolve, or that personal just like, I have to do something and get in there, I'm a doer. So implementation is, you know, you just have to stay light on your feet and figure out what you have to do today and do it. But so to become what happened in the community, you know, my staff started showing back up, some of the kids started showing back up, and if they came back just to see and visit, I put them to work, because they didn't have enough money to get back out of town before they had to go. So it was very loose and wild, you know. The street lights didn't work for, you know, months and months and months. So, but